Let's kick this bad boy off. It's Coach's Corner with one of my favorite college coaches in all of college baseball. We have Drew Bailey, head coach, Concord University. We're going to talk Division II baseball today. And, every parent we talk to, they want to talk D3, JUCO, D1, and hey, what about Division II? It's elite college baseball. And I thought we would start the month of July off and really get some inside information as far as Division II and Concord University. Drew, thanks for taking the time to talk with me today. I'm really excited about getting back in the saddle with you a little bit here and talking Concord baseball.
Walter, thank you. Appreciate you having me on. You know, Obviously you set the stage for a lot of, you allow for a lot of, I guess, behind the scenes and a lot of insight into college baseball. So I appreciate it. I listen to a lot of your podcasts, and I know there's a lot of parents that, sorry, my phone just kicked out. There's a lot of parents that, you know, love the information you're providing because there's so many people that are just, whether it's caliber play, the recruiting process, you're serving a lot of people. A lot you probably don't even realize, but I definitely appreciate it. I looked at your Instagram last night. I think you're like 15, 20,000 followers. So the service is definitely needed, and I think it's needed, but it's also it's valued, right? So appreciate you having me on. Excited to be here.
Well, Drew, I appreciate that, Captain. And I always tell parents you want to be around good mentors, family mentors, life mentors, and quality baseball coaches. And you're all of that summed up into one person. Talk a little bit about going home to the alma mater and really, taking the reins, so to speak, to build that program back up. What made you make that decision to come back to your alma mater?
I think there are a couple things. If anybody knows me, they know that my family is the most important thing to me, and I co-parent with my ex-wife, and so for me to leave the region isn't it's not feasible, and I won't do it. So um, when we felt like, as when I say we, our staff, myself, talking with my wife, 4 years at Bluefield State was great. We built it up every year, and I think the last year we ended up, I don't know, we won 33 games, a couple HBCU World Series, and um, we just kind of felt like not being in a conference, and I felt like it was just like, okay, it's time to move on if the opportunity to come back to my alma mater was presented. My college coach, Kevin Garrett, won 500 plus games here. He retired, well deserved. We've had some really good baseball guys that have sat in the seat. I'm just renting this seat, right? Somebody else will take it after me, but um, we've had some really good baseball guys that have been here. Andrew Wright was my pitching coach the year that I got drafted. Now he's the director of player development with the Yankees, or sorry, the Red Sox. He was with the Yankees. Um, so we've had some great baseball guys. Justin Willard played here. We just got a good history. Justin Willard's, I think, director of pitching with the Red Sox, and we just had so many good baseball guys come through here. And I wanted to compete in the league. I wanted to be able to have an opportunity to, get in the NCAA tournament. And just from a resources standpoint, Bluefield State was great, but I just felt like Concord checked more boxes for me and my coaching journey. And anytime that you have a place that's impacted your life the way this place impacted mine, and you can go back there and try and have that same impact. That the people, not just my college coach, he did a great job, but the people on campus, right? Somebody in the mail room, like whoever it was. I think a lot of people impact people's lives, our student athletes, and they probably don't even realize it until they're out of here. And there's just so many familiar faces here that I was glad to see. And I love this place. I think we're moving in a really good direction. If you come on campus right now, we've got a brand new PA school being built. Nursing program just started 2 years ago. We've got a brand new indoor facility being built, multi-purpose indoor facility, all turf, second weight room, cages, etc. So a lot of good things going on, and I wanted to be a part of that. And I think as a human, it's always okay. Kind of what's next? Like what's our next step? What's our next challenge in our life? And this was I want to get us back in the NCAA tournament. I think that's important, right? Winning academics are obviously important. We tell our guys three things. We obviously can get in this later, but I tell our guys we want to grow as a man, we want to graduate, and we want to win a championship. Those are my three goals for them. And obviously, they have their own individual goals, right? Play at the professional level, be an All American, pitcher of the year, player of the year, whatever it is. But for me, this is a special place, right? And I think a lot of times it's like we get so tied to buildings and facilities, and those are obviously important, right? But the people are more important. And there's a lot of good people here. And I'm just excited to be here. We've got our first full class coming on campus, here in a couple, well, I guess a month, 6 weeks. So, we're right back at it. So just a lot of special people, special place. And, I know I'm biased, but I definitely think that there's a lot of value here.
Well, one of the things I really want to talk to before we go down the baseball road, because you just nailed everything that I try to preach and discuss with parents, is the college experience. I think that's getting lost with all of these portal guys and puddle jumpers, I call them. Can you kind of encapsulate when you're talking with the student athletes that might be freshmen, incoming freshmen, or coming into their sophomore year, the value of becoming a part of the campus over and above baseball? Just getting yourself involved not only in the campus but the community, and that's something that I can hear when you talk about Concord. That's really special to you. Do you kind of get your incoming recruits to understand spending 4 years of your 5 years of your life here will alter your life and give you a foundation going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when we talk about when we've always said 40-year, this is a 40-year commitment, not a 4 year, but obviously landscapes change, right? We might have somebody here for a year and gets their master's, or they're here for a year and they get their 4 year degree from Concord, but they spent 3 years somewhere else. But again, back to the people, I think the people make the experience, right? The people are what shape you and mold you. No organization functions at a high level or gives off good feedback or has high influence, positive influence without good people. So, but we do a lot of off the field training. We do a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of great professors. So I think that experience it takes a lot. It takes a village, right? It's not just me.
Amen.
A lot of times you'll have a coach or you'll have a faculty member. Someone's mentoring these young men and women, and the student athlete doesn't even realize it. And then 10 years later, it's like, that's they get hired in a department or they get a letter of recommendation from them for a job. So you're building those relationships. And I tell our guys, like, you are literally a live resume. You are a walking resume. Your social media, what comes out of your mouth, how you dress, how you act. And don't get me wrong, I had my bumps in the road, right? I was 19 years old at one point, but today's different, right? Today's different. We could make some mistakes 15, 17 years ago that wasn't going on social media and stuff. But also at the same time, these guys have the ability. We do a LinkedIn workshop with our guys. I mean, they can connect with, headhunters and recruiters and but the full campus experience and the impact from, I think a different array of people, I think is huge and because statistically they're not going to play in the big leagues, right? These guys
Right.
aren't going to play in the big leagues statistically. We hope they are. We train them like they will. Like, I tell people all the time, we're going to train. We're going to try and train your son like they're going to play in the big leagues. But if they don't, that's okay. Um, they all have one thing in common. They're all going to be grown men, and they're all going to have to go into the workforce. Fathers, husbands, obviously those are choices, but to be a husband, father, whatever. But they're all going to have to go in the workforce and be professionals. So, I think that's important that we develop a well-rounded athlete and the resources that the campus provides and the people on the campus. That plays a lot into that and the experience that the student athlete has, right?
Well, what I want to encourage parents and athletes to do is make sure you are downloading and creating a profile on the Baseball Blue Book. Be able to find out all about Concord University, Drew Bailey as a coach, the coaching staff, the conference that they play in, Division II baseball. Now more than ever, it is a highly competitive landscape, and the more you know, the better prepared you can be, the more recruitable you become. And on that topic, Drew, talk a little bit about recruiting for you. Is it something that you try to, take care of your backyard? Are you open to athletes from across the country? What type of student athletes catch your eye, and where are they generally coming in from?
I think for us, geographically, just how we're located, of course, we want West Virginia kids, but where we're located, we're so far south. I mean, we sit on the Virginia-West Virginia border. Um, we get a lot of North Carolina, Virginia kids, South Carolina, some PA. The PSAC is very strong, so the PSAC gets a lot of the PA kids. But we're really heavy in Virginia, North Carolina, and we in Southern West Virginia. If there's a really good player out of Southern West Virginia, we want them. So it's not that we don't want West Virginia kids. It's just there's with our league, there's so many state West Virginia schools for a kid coming out of the Panhandle or central, the middle part of West Virginia. They've got to pass so many good universities to get to us. So state of Virginia has came a long way since I came up where I'm from, but you still don't have a lot of Division II options in the state of West Virginia or the state of Virginia. So we really target the New River Valley, Roanoke, just the state of Virginia as a whole, North Carolina, because North Carolina is another one. They only have one state Division II baseball opportunity, and that's UNC Pembroke. So,
Wow.
and a lot of people don't
I did-
realize that they have one. And it doesn't mean that the other programs aren't good. LR is very good, World Series team, Catawba, super regional. But if you're not getting a large amount of scholarship money or you can't afford to go to private school and pay private tuition, I think we're 30, 32 out of state. And I think there's some things in the works to honor some more bordering counties for in-state tuition. There's some things going on, I think, that are going to be in the works. So it allows us to really be competitive in the recruiting front when we step into North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, those states. So, but from the recruiting standpoint, I like high school guys. I always have. Um, I think the challenge for us in today's landscape is a lot of the majority of the teams you're playing are transfer heavy, right? So it's like, you know, there's a lot of good transfers. We have transfers. We brought them in last year when I got here. So I like a mix, but it's like, hey, if you find a really good high school kid that you like and you think he's projectable, it's okay. Can he be patient enough if he's not ready to play right away? Is he going to stick around? And then the transfer that's coming, it's like, okay, he might be a little bit more ready. Maybe the high school kid has more projectability. It's really a chess match. It's like trying to figure out who's going to stay, but I do like the new rule with the NCAA. I don't want to get off topic, but they can play in 15 games now and not burn a year as
Right.
a true freshman. So, and now that might play against you sometimes. You might get a freshman starter who starts 10 games and doesn't burn a year and goes to Division 1. That's okay too, because we're going to sell that. We have to now. It's like, okay, well, he came here for a year, he moved on. Like, we're all junior colleges essentially, even your mid majors. That's the way the landscape's gone. But we like high school guys. In a perfect world, I'm 70-30 high school transfers. But if somebody's 88 to 92 with a good breaking ball and they can throw strikes, it's like it's hard to turn that kid down if he's coming out of the portal or. But a lot of times, if they're in the portal, right, they're probably not filling the zone up all the time, or if they are really good, they might move up. So the situations are always different, right?
One of the things that I would love for you to talk about as a pitcher, you kind of talk about those numbers, and I think parents are frustrated. They think, well, the high school guys that are 87, 89, maybe they're 180 pounds, they're getting overlooked. But when you're evaluating a pitcher, and let's leave velocity off to the side for a second, what are some of the, like things like repeatable delivery? What are some of the visually that you're looking for in a projectable high school pitcher that is going to open your eyes and possibly recruit that high school pitcher?
Well, I talk about this a lot. We talk about being competitive, right? But really, like, what does that mean, right? When we talk about being competitive, because when we usually look at somebody on the mound and we say they're competitive, they're usually a strike thrower, right? Like it's like, man,
Right.
he comes right at you. It's like, okay, well, we're deeming that as he's a competitor, but you're also, we're describing that same thing. He's a strike thrower, right? So maybe being a competitor is we look at as okay, inning one has a tough inning, inning two, great composure. He's right back out there. He's not phased. But Strike throwers are competitors. That's the way. Now, obviously, the stuff's got to be there, right? But um, I think composure. Like, I like to just look at guys how they stand on the mound. Like, are the shoulders rolled in, or is the chest up? Is the head up? Like, do they pitch with tempo or pace? Like, are they ready to go, or are they? Is it like watching paint dry? Obviously, the pitch clock tried to change a lot of that, but um, you know, how do they handle errors behind them, right? I had I was young at one point, but like, how do they handle the booted ball behind them? But I think composure is important. Um, Outside of velocity, I think, one thing, the changeup is a plus. We love a good changeup. I think that separates a lot of guys, fastball command. You got to be able to spin the ball. I mean, how many guys do you see at the college level that can't spin the ball that are successful? And we don't. I'm not encouraging. I told our youth camp this week, I'm not going to sit here and encourage young arms that they need to throw 80% breaking balls. But I've been teaching my son to spin the ball since he was 8, because he's probably not. He might not be a flamethrower per se, but with all the data we have from Dr. James Andrews, ASMI, the torque and the stress on the arm from the fastball and overuse, those are the biggest things that are tearing the elbows up. And guys are stronger, more physical than ever. So it's like, if you can spin the ball, we've got a kid coming in named Jonah Adams, maybe tops 86, 87, was 2A pitcher of the year in North Carolina in his league. Spins the ball extremely well. 160 pounds, maybe 6 foot. Like, but he gets guys out. He spins it, and we'll see how he does at the college level. We think he's going to be good, but he can throw that in any count. Stand up there 3-2, 2-0, 1-0, whatever it is. It's like, if you can spin the ball in hitters counts and changeups and hitters counts, obviously the fastball commands right. That's always number one. But outs, we're searching for outs, and I think sometimes with everything, and I fell into that trap at some point in my career. But it's like, hey, you know, can we throw it where they don't hit it well, right? Can we change speeds? Can we alternate gas and brake well? Like, can we get guys out? And I think we've gotten away from that a little bit. But I also understand that when you turn the TV on and Mason Miller's 104 last night, it's like,
Yeah.
how can you blame these kids for wanting they're in the hunt for velocity, and you can't be upset with them. The Brewers closer the other night's 102. Like, you can't be mad. But I think if you ask a lot of kids if they'd rather throw 95 with a 7 ERA at the Division One level, or be 85 to 88 and a first team all league, all conference pitcher at the Division Two level, a lot of them are going to pick the 95, because they're probably like, I got a
Right.
better chance to play pro ball. I mean, which again, I get, but we want to be good pitchers, right? Let's be good pitchers first. Let's get people out, and then hopefully we'll develop the velocity as we. But the velocity just seems to jump to the forefront of the development. Not, hey, can we throw a changeup back behind a fastball, and can we hold the run game? Can we recognize bad swings? Can we recognize where guys stand in the box? And I think pitching is an art, but we've seemed to have started to make it like it's just a one way road of velo. And um, I don't know. I could talk about this for a while, but we want guys that can spin the ball, guys that we want guys that look different. And I hear a lot of guys. I think I heard Jay Johnson talk about this. It's like, you don't want everybody coming out of that pen that's 86, 87 from the same slot with a slider. Like, give me a higher slot, curveball, cutter guy. Give me a lower slot, sinker, slider, change. Like, let's, we want to be kind of a Swiss Army knife coming out of the bullpen. So funky's okay, cross the body's okay, right? Because at the end of the day, Walter, if you're getting guys out, what does it matter?
Right. I agree. And one of the things that you just used a word, and you've used it several times, and I want to talk a little bit about it because I think you're the perfect coach. I mean, you have children, you understand, you have a young son that's going to get involved with the game. Can you talk a little bit about two words, patience and development? I think in today's world, we're so, because maybe it's travel ball. I don't know. Maybe it's high school. Not really sure. But suddenly, when you're a freshman in high school and you're not playing, I got to find another school where I can go play, or a travel baseball team. But in college, there's something to be said for being patient and maturing and developing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think it is a tough transition, right? A lot of these guys we're bringing in this year they're their best players on their high school teams, right? And it's like that in all sports. So I think it's, we've got a couple really promising catchers coming in. Well, our catcher last year hit 12 home runs, 13 doubles. He was first team all region. He's a senior. Like, if he's healthy, he's going behind the plate, right? So those guys have to recognize it's like, hey, I need to learn as much as I can from him. And when I'm in the catching position, injuries happen, but it's like a lot of it's mindset, right? Like, we talk all the time about we work while we wait. We work while we wait. Our playing time, our results, nothing should negatively alter our ability to show up every day and work, right? Now, you might have to change your processes as far as, okay, I made this adjustment with the swing, it's not working. I made this, right? So how you do that's a little bit different, but we're going to show up every day with the same enthusiasm, the same effort, the same level of focus. Even if we're not, I give a good story all the time. We had a kid this year named Ty Livingston. Love the kid. Swing doesn't, if you looked at his swing, it's like it doesn't match what you would think would be the most mechanical, like smooth swing in baseball. And honestly, in the fall, we didn't think he would play a lot, if at all. He got voted team captain. The guys respected him. They love him. We give him a pinch hit later in the year, hits a ball hard. Pinch hit, hits another ball hard. This is a 24-year-old young man who's never really had at bats at the college level. Give him a spot start, like 3 for 4. He runs off like 80 at bats and hits like 350 for us. Um, and I never envisioned him playing for us. And I've got some stories like that, but I think it's like, you know, if you're that good and you're ready to play right away at the Division II level, I'll know, my staff will know, your teammates are going to know. Um, but it's a hard transition, especially swinging the bat. I think that's everywhere, right? Like, so the patient side of it is, 50 games versus 25 high school games, and the physicality of the guys you're going up against, right? I'd say the number one reason most guys are not ready to play at this level right away is they're not physical enough. And obviously the skill set has to be there, but how many 155-pound kids do you see on a college baseball field? You have exceptions, speedster, undersized, maybe just a heck of a competitor, maybe a left-handed arm, or you have exceptions. But I guarantee if you go look at Division II conferences, the SAC, Conference Carolinas, go look at their all conference guys. Those guys are strong, they're physical. And if you're a freshman and you're not there yet, it's okay, right? I just think it's extremely important that it's like, hey, you have people around you that are honest. Stuff like you do with the consulting, like I think that's a lot of our issue in today's game, sports, life in general, is like we're not putting enough people around us that are honest with us. It's like, hey, I'm a travel ball organization. I'm getting ready to go recruit as soon as I get off the phone with you. But it's like, hey, we do want to get as many guys signed as possible. We want to put it on social media. That's great. But at the same time, it's like there's a lot of good organizations that are telling kids like, hey, you got to get bigger if you want to play right away, or you got to do this. So it's like you have to have people around you that are honest. And I think if the communication's clear, um, I think those kids can be a little bit more patient. They can understand like, hey, I'm not quite ready yet. 2 years ago, we had an outfielder come to us and was like, hey, coach, I'm not ready to play at this level. And we're like, well, we know that, but the fact that you're coming to us first is great. Kid takes a red shirt, puts 15 pounds on, goes to college summer league, gets 80 at bats. It's like 340, 380. I don't know. He had a really good year the next year, but he was mature enough to recognize like I'm not ready to compete at this level yet, right? So we played. I think the physicality is the biggest thing, but at the same time, Walter, if we get a freshman this fall and he's our best player, he's going to play, right? I mean, it doesn't. We're not going to discriminate because he's a 18-year-old. If he's better than the 24-year-old, then that's just what we'll have to do, right? Because we want to win. At the end of the day, it's I love every one of our guys, but we need to put the best nine out there. So, but the patience thing is tough, right? It's humbling, but I think again, got to have people around them, got to have clear communication of where you stand, and I think sometimes we fall short as coaches on that. It's like we're leading you down the path of thinking that you're going to be ready to play for us, but at the end of the day, production is king, right? You produce, you play.
Amen. Well, I want to say thank you. I know you're about to get on a recruiting call visit, and I know it's a busy time of year. I want to stress to parents and student athletes, NCAA Division II baseball is elite. You have to be a very, very talented student athlete to play at that level. And one of the best coaches in the country, all levels, all divisions. Drew Bailey, because he gets it as a dad, gets it as a mentor, most importantly, gets it as a coach. I strongly encourage you to consider whether it's a camp, find your way, visit the campus, make sure you give Coach Bailey a heads up that you'll be on campus. Drew, best of luck, not only the rest of the summer and fall, but going forward. I'm sure somewhere down the road, you're going to be a highly sought after coach for not only college, but beyond college. So best of luck this upcoming season.
Thank you, Walter. I appreciate you. Thank you for everything you do for the game.
I appreciate it, my good man.